What's up, ladies? Welcome back to another Modest K video where we walk, talk, and dress with intention. And I'm your host today, Modest K. Alright, ladies, today we're talking about how can we stay true to ourselves in relationships. Sometimes we get so lost and caught up with the person that we are in love with, and we forget who we are because we're so used to we end up getting used to what do they need, how do they feel, how can I make his day easier, what should I text him back, what should I do for him today, how can I be the best girlfriend ever, the best wife ever. So today I kind of want to pour a little bit into you, and let's talk about how we can not lose ourselves in relationships. Number one, keep your identity strong. Number one, the best way to keep your identity strong is try to prioritize your goals and your passions over trying to fit someone's expectations. Sometimes when we are in relationships, we try to be the person that we love needs, and we try to be everything to them, everything they need, everything they want. And if they say they like something a certain way, we kind of want to make their life easier as possible. And you never want to prioritize their happiness, their passions over yours, because you will start to lose your own. And you will start to you'll forget about you. And from someone who has done that before, not once, but every time I've ever got to the point that I was fin to lose myself to the point of no return, God pulled me back in. So make sure you prioritize your passions and your goals. Hobbies, your friendship, your self-care routine, because those things are non-negotiables. So when you get with somebody, when you date somebody or end up being in love with somebody, don't forget about you. Remember the self-care that you do. Even if that person don't get you flowers, make sure you get yourself flowers. Like, if you was already doing that before and that's something that you love, show up for yourself. And my mom always told me that the way that you show up for yourself is the way that other people will show up for you. So if you're not prioritizing you, they won't prioritize you. You have to make sure you prioritize you, especially your passions and your goals. Number two, set and maintain boundaries. Number two is you kind of have to know your limits in life and in love, like what you're willing to accept and what you're willing not to. And boundaries definitely help keep you on track of never losing sight of what your standards are. One of the best things to do when you're setting boundaries and trying to maintain boundaries in your life is say no with confidence. Now, I know for my girls that are very nice and very sweet, myself included, it is very hard to set boundaries sometimes, but we have to make sure we do, so that we do not put others before ourselves to the point that we can't even show up for ourselves. Or we have to be able to say no when we're uncomfortable, because if you always say yes and you're always uncomfortable, you'll start to hate yourself. And you're too beautiful, you're too an amazing person to not love yourself and not show up for yourself. So setting boundaries are super important, and it's okay to say no with confidence. Make it clear and cut. No. So when someone conflicts with the way that you value yourself, the standards you hold for yourself, as in time and the energy you put into yourself, is to say no with confidence. Number three, choose aligned relationships. Number three, one of the best ways to maintain aligned relationships, or to make sure that we have aligned relationships, is to avoid unequally yoked relationships. Thing we can do, ladies, is to be with men who love, respect, greatest support ever. One, you never want to date someone that's unequally yoked. A man that's walking in faith will make sure that you will never step off anywhere else. He's going to make sure you stay in your faith. You can't pray, it's cool, I'm praying for you, we're praying, you only gotta say words, I got it. Those are the type of men that we need. Men that's going to show up for themselves, but also pour into you the way they will pour into themselves, with actual love, but God's love. I know that sometimes when we're young, or just life can feel so like lonely when you're trying to walk with God and make the right decisions, but God is an intentional God. He is probably he probably wants you to put in some work first, or he probably wants you to show up for you the way that you want to show up for that man, you know. So most healthiest thing we can do is date men with intention, meaning date men that actually walk with God, that actually respect your faith, respect the way that you value yourself, and also respect the vision that you have for yourself, and who compliments you and uplifts you, not try to control you and diminish your self-worth, because girl, you're worth more than that. Number 4, when Queen I just said, my intuition never lies, she never lied. Listen to your inner voice. I call it my Holy Spirit. You call it whatever you need. Listen to it. It is protecting you, and it is telling you not to make more chaos in your life than you need. That intuition, that the Holy Spirit, it literally guides you through life, and the reason why is because she wants to protect you, and it's her job to make sure that you don't make every mistake there is, and that you move with intention. So that inner voice, your intuition, is literally telling you, do not go that way, do not talk to him, do not date him, do not do this, or pay attention to this. Oh, that looks a little funny. It's a reason, and you have to trust yourself, okay? Trust yourself, trust your intuition. Queen I just said it for a reason, guys. I'm just using her as an example. Why? Because it's true. Sometimes we forget that our intuition does not lie, and then later on we be like, yo, that I knew that was coming. What was I doing? Listen to your intuition. One of those ways that you can listen to your intuition is notice when you feel anxious, drained, annoyed, frustrated consistently around the same people or the same person. That is your body and that is your intuition telling you, I don't want to be here. You need to move somewhere else. We need to move on. We're done with this. Like we're done with this. So listen to that voice, that anxious voice when you're around people and it's like, yeah. That means it's time to remove yourself. That means your spirit is uncomfortable. And though your spirit is uncomfortable, you're still staying there. That after a while, when your spirit is literally telling you, hey, I feel uncomfortable here. Hey, we're uncomfortable here. We need to move. And you do not listen to it. You'll begin to not trust yourself, which leads to you lowering your standards, will lead to self-sabotaging and just a whole list of bad things. So try to listen to your intuition. When your intuition tell you, girl, we need to get out of here, girl, run. Number 5, love without losing you. Number 5, how to love without losing you is keeping your emotional and spiritual life centered on you and God. Always. Let love be a partnership, not a replacement of who you are. Sometimes we get into these relationships, and I think the reason why people end up being with someone and losing themselves is because you never fully found yourself. So you're using these artificial things to fill holes that you haven't found yet. And yes, all our lives we will be growing and we will be always finding ourselves. But while we are young, you are still finding yourself. So taking on these heavy and big commitments like marriage, like relationships, it's okay to not be ready for those things. It's the best thing. It's better not to get into something if you don't even know who you are. Love is supposed to be a partnership. It's supposed to be joy and love. Not all the time, but most of the time you're supposed to actually like who you're with. And I feel like you can fully love and like who you're with when you know who you are. I say all that to say, ladies, protect who you are. Protect your mind, your heart, your soul, and your spirit. Do not allow anyone to tell you who you are. The best thing to do is to find who you are. Take your time. There's no need to rush. Find who you are, and you'll never have to worry about somebody telling you who you are. And then you will be able to pour into the man that you love. Alright ladies, that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye.